As the Kriegsmarine started to arm itself for a possible war with France, the planned carriers would have to be superior to the French carrier Baron. Light carrier designs were made to support the German surface units if they had to face off with the French Dunkirk-class battleships, but none of these ships would start construction. With a limited escort unit, the Graf Zeppelin class carriers had 16 6-inch guns to defend itself. Originally planned as 10,000-ton carriers, with the evaluation of ships of other nations, the Kriegsmarine upped the displacement to 15,000 tons per hull. Attachés reported ship designs of American, British, and Japanese carriers, mostly Akage. The Anglo-German Naval Treaty allowed Germany just over 38,000 tons of carrier displacement, so the Germans decided to split the weight into two ships. The carriers were ordered in late 1935 and the Flugzeugträger A got laid down in the end of 1936. Shortages of steel, high-pressure turbines, and workers delayed the progress of their constructions. The hull of Flugzeugträger A was launched in the end of 1938, with the name now changed to Graf Zeppelin. By the start of World War II, the carrier was mostly completed, and it was thought that it would be ready in 1940. The displacement grew throughout her construction, and the ship's full load displacement became just under 34,100 tons. Length was at 861 feet 3 inches or 262.5 meters. Beam was at 118 feet 9 inches or 36.2 meters, and draft was at 27 feet 11 inches 8.5 meters. 200,000 shaft horsepower was achieved by 16 high-pressure boilers. Speed would be at around 33.8 knots. Armament would have consisted of 16 6-inch guns, 12 105mm dual-purpose guns, 22 37mm and 28 20mm anti-aircraft guns. Armor around the belt was at 100mm or just under 4 inches, flight deck at 45mm or 1.8 inches, and main deck at 60mm or 2.4 inches. The island was on the starboard side and 3 elevators were placed on the ship. The design limited her air group to around 42 aircraft. The 1939 proposal consisted of 12 fighters, which would be the carrier variants of the Bf-109, and 30 dive bombers. These would be the carrier variant Ju-87 Stukas. 2 catapults were added on the forward part of the flight deck. 4 arrestor cables were placed with multiple more in case of emergency. As World War II began, the ship's guns, fire control equipment and other components were diverted to other uses, and the Norway campaign demanded dock space to repair damaged ships. Work on naval aircraft was also delayed, as the Kriegsmarine and Luftwaffe got on bad terms and the completed aircraft were later used by the Luftwaffe. Stop-start efforts were made throughout World War II, but the carrier was never commissioned and it was scuttled in harbor. After World War II, the Soviets took the ship to the Baltic Sea, where they would test weapons to destroy enemy carriers. Graf Zeppelin proved to be surprisingly tough, as she survived multiple bombs and torpedoes, but later sank due to the damage. In 2006, the carrier wreck was found in pretty good condition.